Okay, so we are in Sha'arei Orah, Baros of Chikatilia. We're in Shura number 7, yes?
6.
6. If it was 7, it would be perfect. We're learning about the Malchut today. Malchut is Batsheva.
We can do 7 tomorrow.
It's the 7th Sphira. Anyways, we had a great Shi'ur today, I think.
Very nice.
And today we're going to learn in Sha'arei Orah something very similar. We're going to learn about the last Sphira called Malchut. I didn't use the board, and somebody asked maybe next year I was gonna do with you Kavanot Tzedakah. This week's parasha talks about tzedakah, but we get Hashem Yatzah Haravar. Basically, we have 10 Sefirot. Sefirot, as I explained many times in my Shiurim, are 10 ways, Midot. Hashem decided to reveal himself in this world, a Shiur Koma. Shiur Koma is a system, a partzuf, a system. There is no such a kind of thing, anything in this world that doesn't have 10 in it. Everything has 10. 10, 10,
fingers.
10. The fingers, your body, everything has 10. 10 is a whole number. It constitutes a system. Okay? So we have, in the beginning, you have Keter. Keter in a human's body would be your skull. And every power that connects to your skull, including your hat. So the real power of Keter you could never really reach, because it's a hat. It's a crown. The crown is disconnected from the body. So therefore, just like the crown is disconnected from your body, the crown of God you could never really comprehend. And even more so, He Himself, as we learned last week. After that, you have the Sphira of Chokhmah. Chokhmah would be the right, in our bodies, would be the right side of your brain. Right? You have two sides of your brain. You have the right and left hemisphere. And you have that special line in the middle that disconnects them. And then you have the Bina. In between the Bina, you have a space. In Kabbalah, we call that Netiv Lo Yeda'o Ait, the pathway that nobody could comprehend. In the middle, you have what we call in our human bodies the Medulla Oblongata, which is the Da'at, the tree of life. Da'at. Now the Da'at is a very special Sphira because it's not really a Sphira. It's only a characteristic that God defines Himself in if He doesn't use Keter. That's what we call Chet Bet Dalet, or Chabad. So the Chabad movement is all about revealing these 3 Sphirot. That's what it's about. Because Keter you could never really know. It's disassociated with the body. It's a crown, but it reveals itself in the Da'at, and the sin of Adam Harishon was all in this Sefira of Da'at. Avon, Adam, Harishon. He sinned in the Da'at. What's so special about the Da'at? It has 2 powers in it. One is called Chasadim and one is called Gevurot. Chasadim and Gevurot. Fire and water. In this world, food, to a human being, it's food and not air, but water, liquid. You need liquid to live, and you need solids to live. Those solids and liquids are not in your body to begin with, right? You got to take them from outside of the world and bring them inside of you, correct? So when Adam Harishon sinned, he really made a big defect in these 2 aspects of Chasadim, the Gvurot, which I always like to talk about in my Shiurim, the Gvurot being Cain, and the Chasadim being Hevel. Really, Cain was supposed to be the second-born. Hevel was supposed to be the firstborn, like Yaakov was supposed to come out before Esav. Because of the sin of Adam Harishon, Cain took the firstbornship. Okay? But let's not talk about Kain and Hevel right now. It's more of a Sha'arei Gilguli Mashiva. Okay, so we have Da'at. Now I'm going to erase Da'at because I don't want you guys to think of him as a sphere. I just want you guys to think of Keter as a sphere. Don't think of Da'at as a sphere. After that, on the right side, under Chokhmah, you have Chesed, which is your right arm in this world. That means it translates in this world as your right arm. So when you look at your right arm, what are you really supposed to look at?
Chesed.
You're looking at Chesed. So when you do a mitzvah with your right arm, what you're really doing is you're putting the Chesed inside the mitzvah. Do you understand? Because nothing is a coincidence in this world. And we always have to start with the right. Why? Always start with Chesed. Or we always end with the right. Always end with Chesed. Chesed. Yeah?
If you did something with the left, is that bad?
No, because of the sin of Adam HaRishon, the left has to learn its place. Because the left, if you give it too much power, it's going to burn everything. So you have to allow the water to damp up the place, the Chesed, to take its spot so the Gevura won't destroy everything. Because Chesed and Gevura have to work together. That's the whole point. That's why according to the Ari, you're not allowed to go like this. You can't do this. People who sit like this, very comfortable actually. You're not allowed to do that according to the Ari HaKadosh. Because you're combining two forces in a place where they're not supposed to be combined. Also the same reason why you can't mix meat and milk. Now sometimes you are allowed to mix Chesed and Gevura, like when we put water in wine. That's because that's the Gevura of the Chesed. You understand? The Yayin, the water is Chesed and the wine is the Gevura. But it's the Gevura of the Chesed. Because everything really has its own system. All the liquids have its own system. All the solids have its own system. So the Gevura of the solids, which is meat, and the Gevura and the Chesed of the liquids, which is milk, if they combine together, they destroy the world. What world? You.
The
Goyim don't have a neshama elokit. There's a neshama behemit and neshama elokit. So when I say neshama behemit, they have a neshama. But they're not responsible to affect all of Atzilut, Biriya, Yitzira, and Asiya. So Chesed, and the left side under Bina, we have Gevura. Now remember, everyone in this room has a shorish in one of these sefirot. You have to learn how to pinpoint where you're from.
You can be multiple?
You could be multiple, but not at the same time. You could jump. Under Chesed, we have Netzach. Netzach is the power of victory and infinity. When Shmuel Hanavi told Shaul, you messed up, he said, God doesn't lie. What did he say? Netzach Yisrael lo yishaker. The infinite one will never lie, because you didn't destroy Amalek, which is, to tell you the truth, if you look at it in a rational mind, it was a big, tough thing for Shaul to do. He had to kill children, women, babies. He had to kill everybody. If you say that to a regular liberal kid that grows up today in every school, he'll say you're a murderer. But God said you had to do that. So there are some things in the Torah you have to come into. You have to come to that realization. That's what Hashem wants. It's hard to accept it in our world. But it's the truth, that what's written in the Torah. So first you have to come to it that I believe in the Torah. And then you could come to the realization that what the Torah says is true. Under Gevurah is the Sefirah of Hod. Hod is the power of splendor of glory. That's the Sod of the Kohen Gadol. Under that we have our favorite Sefirah, which is called the bridge. The Yesod, which is our Brit Milah. So the right leg, the left leg, and the Brit Milah. Under the Brit Milah we have the part where we actually cut off the Orah, which is the Ateret HaYesod, the crown of the Yesod, which is the Malchut. The Malchut could also be defined as your spouse. So in your body, the Malchut is the place of the Brit Milah. And in the general world, the systems, the Malchut is your wife. And the whole and the Malchut is also called
Bina.
No way, Bina is up here.
No, but isn't that
We have to bring up the Malchut to Bina. That's already, you're jumping to a different place. The Bina is Ima.
Oh, Ima.
You're jumping to different things right now.
Yeah.
The Malchut is also called the Shechina, the divine presence. He's the one that Ein Sof reveals himself in the characteristic of Malchut, which is kingdomship. We call that the Shechina. Okay? When he reveals himself in Yesod, what do we call him? Many names. You could call him Shalom. You could call him the Gesher. You could call him the Tzaddik, right? Yosef Tzaddik. So therefore, the Chachamim say that every part of the Sfirot actually represent one of our forefathers. Avraham represented Chesed. Yitzchak represented Gevura. Sorry, I wrote it again. Yitzchak. Yeah. Oh, we forgot one sphere on the middle. Actually, the most important one. Tiferet. Tiferet is the actual body where all the organs are in. That's Yaakov. Sod Talmud Torah. Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Oalim.
the middle?
Netzach is Moshe. Hod is Aharon. Yesod is Yosef. And Malchut is everyone's favorite, Tehillim.
David.
Everyone needs the Malchut, David. Okay? So by learning, for example, about Moshe, you're tapping into Netzach. By learning about Aharon, you're tapping into Hod. So if you need to make a tikkun, for example, in your Hod, learn about Aaron HaKohen. What's Hod? You have to learn the Arya Kadosh. What Averot make a pegam in Hod? What Averot make a pegam in Netzach? If you have problems with Shalom Bayit, for example, you're making a pegam in the Malchut. Start reading Tehillim. You gotta start reading Tehillim. Now, reading Tehillim is not gonna do the job. Just reading it. By reading Tehillim and understanding what you're reading, how David rips his neshama out, saying to Hashem, Hatzila nafshi, save me, give me life, change me, make me a better person. That's gonna change you automatically. You understand? It's not over here, adabra over here, right? It's the words that those chachamim put inside their work that changes a person. Now today we're going to start learning about the Malchut, which is the most important Sphira, because Mashiach is the Malchut. Now the Ari, I'm going to tell you this in advance, explains to us that the Malchut has a special power in it. Since it's in the middle column, it has a special ability to jump level all the way to the Keter. That's why the Malchut, which is David, wears the Keter. Okay? And also in Shir Hashirim, what does Shlomo always call Hashem? Dodi. Dod is really David. David, because in Divrei Hayamim, David is written with a Yud. Okay? It's written with a Yud. In the book of Tehillim, he's written without the Yud. But you could also write it with the Yud. Right? When you write him with the Yud, it's equals to 24. 24 is how many books we have in Tanakh? 24. Because David is the Malchut, which in him is all the Torah. That's why Tehillim is the most famous book of the Tanakh. Probably the most widely read. It's probably been read billions of times.
By going to.
That's exactly what I'm saying, billions of times. So let's learn about the Malchut right now. What words in the Torah actually correspond to the Malchut? Yesod HaChochma v'ikar HaKabbalah, says Rabbi Yosef Jikatilia, the foundation of the wisdom and the main Kabbalah. Now remember, he's before the Ari. Look at the first four letters of the words. Yesod HaChochma v'ikar HaKabbalah, Yud Kei Vav Kei. Emunat Hashem Yitbarach Ha'amen. Believe in the oneness of God. Look at the first letters. Aleph K, Yud K, Ekeh. See, the Mekubalim were always very careful what they said, what they did. They always want to make sure that the Shemot of Hashem is in their works. Now, he doesn't stop over there. Im derech nechocha yidrechu, if you will go on the straight path. Aleph Dalet Nun Yud Amonai. Machshevotecha, what? Where does it all start in your thought? As telech labetach darkecha v'raglecha lo taguf. Then you will go with true emunah and bitachon, and don't worry where your feet will take you, because you'll always go in the right way. As long as you have that straight arrow, that ideology that Hashem is real, then you will never lose. Hashem Arishon Meshemot HaKodesh Hu Shem HaNikra Amonai. The first name of God, which is the Malchut, is Aleph. Dalet, Nun, and I'm going to make the Nun. Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud, Amonai. That's the name of what? The Malchut. So every time we say Baruch Atah Amonai, right away, what am I having kavanah? Which midah of Hashem that's in? Malchut. It's the Malchut of Hashem. Letaken olam b'malchut shakai. Malchut shakai, Amonai Malchut. That's what we say in Alelu L'Shabbat. We finish the tefillah, we're in the Malchut. Baruch Atah Amonai, we always say Amonai. Amonai is Shem HaMalchut. Amar Shlomo HaMelech. Of course, we start with King Solomon, the smartest of all men. Alav Shalom, on him may peace be. Shmor raglecha kasher telech el beit Elokim. Watch when you're walking to God's house. He's going to explain to us now, not only in God's names could you know which sphere He's showing Himself in, also in the physical world, you could see God in certain places, and that place is in God's house, which is a Beit HaKnesset. So when you're in a shul, you're going to be, I'm jumping already, you're Zah, you're Chesed until Yesod as a man. The Malchut will be the shul. So as you're in the shul, you're connecting Shem Havaya and Shem Amonai automatically. If you don't speak and say blah blah blah. That's why the Zohar is so machmir when you talking inside a Beit HaKnesset. It's like talking in the middle of being with your wife. Whoever learned Hilchot Shulchan Aruch Siman Reish Mem, you're not allowed to speak in the middle of the act unless it's for the. But you're not allowed to over exaggerate.
Overboard.
You can't go overboard. That's already something you go with your chatan in your chatan. But the Shulchan Aruch says don't go overboard, because then your machshava will change. Chas shalom, you'll think of something else. So too when you walk in a shul, which is the Malchut. This is the Malchut. You're in the Shekhinah right now. If you speak something or walk in a way that you're not supposed to walk in it, what do I mean? He's going to explain himself. This is an amazing sefer. He's going to explain to you how you're supposed to react when you meet God's Malchut. Let's go a couple of more sentences, but it's late already. Just 2 more sentences and we'll finish. Because it's really, I gave you guys a big bomba over here. A man must check himself. I love his lashon. He's so clear when he writes. Lizaher, to be careful. When you want to daven before Hashem, to see and understand. You hear that, Rabbi?
Wow.
Person must always understand before he davens. Does he have prosecutors and barriers that stop his tefillah? Every time before you daven, a person has to understand. You feel it, you know it. See whatever you did beforehand. Do you have prosecutors stopping your tefillah? You are the beating Ein Sof of this world.
Meaning if
you are God's emissary. You're the ambassador to this world.
Throw the tzedakah before praying, it helps.
Tzedakah helps. We're going to learn tzedakah is another name for the Malchut. Try to destroy those prosecutors before you go to the tefillah. How? First of all, the mashal, you're going to the king, you want to ask him a question. You're going to the king when you're going to the tefillah. You have to be very zealous. Is there on a way something that's going to stop you from going to the king? Or sakana, maybe a danger? How many gates you have to go until you reach the throne room? This in this, to understand who's guarding the gate and to know how to bribe those gatekeepers. Liyoto ahuv etzel kulam, everybody should love you, and to bladad im yesh besonim, maybe somebody hates you over there. Milvat kol ze ra'ui lo ladad lidbonen bavgadim. You have to also know what you're wearing before you're going in front of the king. Im hu ra'ui li kan. He's writing this 700 years ago. If you're worthy to go inside in front of the chatzar hamelech, it's just the courtyard of the king. Kamo shenemar ki ein lavo el hamelech. Wow. Mishinichnas Adar, we're saying a pasuk from Megillat Esther. You're not allowed to go inside the king wearing sackcloth. You have to be dressed to impress. Are you worried to speak in front of a king? Turn the page. And forget about the king. What about the ministers and the eunuchs? Maybe somebody's going to stop you from asking your request. Maybe you're going to have to stay in the king's house for a couple of hours. They're going to keep you on the waiting list. If you'll be able to handle it. So he's going to say in the next sentences, we're going to end over here, that this world is the mirror image of the upper world. Like you go lahadu to the DMV, so you get inside to the DMV to get your license, you have to wait and you have to make you stay. Same things in the next world. Hashem made a hishtalshalut. He made a hierarchy. To get to him, you gotta be ready.
Worthy, you have to be worthy.
So don't think you're coming to Bet HaKnesset and boom, I'm gonna daven. Yes, Hashem hears everything. True, because enod milvado. But because we are finite, there is a hierarchy. So therefore, before you come to daven, prepare yourself. That's what he's gonna start with. And we're going to continue with this next week. Hashem yivarech et kulchem be'adar sameach שנכנס עליהם בשמחה, ברכה והצלחה, ישועות גדולות, וכל הברכות, וכל הישועות, וכל ההצלחות, זיווגים הגונים, ולברכות, ולהצלחות, לפרנסה טובה, לבריאות. May you guys always be healthy about Hashem. וכל ההצלחות, ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן ואמן.